Hi everyone, welcome to this fortnightly Tools for Frontline staff session. We've got a couple of people going to present today. Maya, who's here from Hackney Council, is going to talk about some funding for repair cafes, and then Daniel from Barnados is going to speak after Maya about some courses for parents, I believe. So I'm going to pass across to Maya. Take it away.
Hi everyone, my name's Maya and I'm a management trainee at Hackney Council, and I'm currently working in the climate sustainability and environmental services. And I have to say, I didn't know that Hackney had a YouTube channel, but I'm glad to be featured on it soon. But yeah, I'm here today to just tell you a bit about a grant that we've recently launched within the climate change team, and it's a repair cafe grant to sort of empower local community groups to establish their own repair cafes. And repair cafes, they're like essentially spaces like within the community where people can come and get various like items fixed, such as like electronics, as well as like clothes, textiles, bikes as well. And this like really fits into our circular economy strategy that we have in the climate change, sort of reduce waste and help, as well as helping residents like save money. So yeah, the grant is for maximum £1,500, and it would like allow community organisations to pay like payment for like the fixers, as well as hire a venue, take out insurance, like promotional materials as well. And yeah, the grant is open to any sort of like non-profit organisation within or structured group of residents within the borough. And we're particularly like hoping to reach out to like community organisations and TRAs, as well as like potentially like schools as well. Yeah, I will post a few links in the chat, and I think there's going to be a brief synopsis of it in the next newsletter as well, that will have some links as well. And if you'd have any questions, please like reach out to me directly, or we have the Greener Hackney at hackney.gov.uk email, which you can also use. But yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Maya. Do you know roughly what sort of information people have to provide for the application and when the deadline is?
Yeah, that's a good question. The deadline is 11th of May. So it's roughly like it's going to be open for like 5-6 weeks, because we're aware of Easter potentially like delaying things. And the questions are sort of more like operational questions about like if they have like a venue in mind, like what kind of like residents do they hope to like engage with the repair cafe, and also like sort of questions around whereabouts in the ward they are, and how like a budget table and how they would use the money. We have in our like grant guidance, we have a grant guidance document that like sort of goes through each question with a bit more like detail. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks, Maya. Charlie just put a question in the chat. Have you spoken to Freddie Arscombe or Emma Harrison about the work? Is that from resident participation, Charlie?
I think we have been in touch. I will double check with like my colleagues, and then maybe I'll get back to you, Charlie, if we haven't. That's okay.
Nice one, thanks, Charlie. Does anyone else have any questions for Maya? Jenny?
I was just curious, what sort of stuff can people get fixed in the Fixer Cafe? Does it depend what kind of fixers they managed to get? Or
yeah, so like previously in the repair cafes that have been run by the council, we've had like bike fixers as well as like electronic fixers. So that's like, I guess, things like toasters. And then like there's a textile fixers who like bring sewing machines and can like fix up holes in people's like clothes.
amazing. Yeah, I think we would probably have ideas of some of the organisations that would be interested. I mean, I just visited, I don't know if they've made it onto the call today, but I just visited Beta Minds, who have a lovely space where they had quite a lot of people coming in who I can imagine might value that. And we know quite a lot of organisations that that have that kind of time and space, don't we? But Charlie.
So Maya, I'll introduce you to Idia's Community Kitchen. They have a load of toasters that I'm sure you can fix, and we can work out maybe a right way for them to apply.
Yeah, that'd be great. Pamela, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, just something from the Children's Child Protection Service. If there was a child that was really interested in, say, fixing toasters, is that something that they can do? Like, come in and they haven't got a toaster to be fixed themselves, but they're just really interested in using their hands, just an activity, direct works, is that something that can be done, or is it just someone that's already fixing and we don't really, involve children or young people?
Yeah, so there's like an organisation called Hackney Fixers that we're in touch with. I'm not sure how you go about becoming a fixer. Like if you knew of someone who would like to almost like learn the ways, then like perhaps like we could get in touch with the Hackney Fixers and I could see if they have like some sort of program for that. But I don't think they like at the repair cafes we would just like hire these like organized groups of fixers to come, and I don't think there would like really be scope for someone to learn how to do it there.
Sure, that's fine. I thought I'd just ask, just in case we do have a lot of young people that are really interested in mechanics, and that they would be nice, an activity for them to do, really. But
yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
I think you're right that like the most sustainable way is for people to know themselves how to fix things, and it would be great to have like those sort of like provisions in place to allow people to learn themselves.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pamela. That's a really good idea. Does anyone else have a question or suggestion for Maya? No? Okay, well, I'll be including all the information and the links and everything in the newsletter. So please do take a look when you get that and share it with other organisations that you think might be interested. Great. Well, thanks, Maya, for coming along. At such short notice. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think we're going to move on to our next presenter. Hi, Daniel. Welcome.
Hi.
Glad you got the link. Apologies if you didn't get it before. But you're up next. So Daniel's here from Barnados. So please take it away when you're ready.
I'm also here with my colleague Janine.
Yeah, hi Janine.
Who, if I drop the bag, she can just pick it straight back up.
Perfect.
And equally as important, John, it would be really good if you could put the link in the actual invite, because when we click on it, it might be our firewalls, but when we click on the link,
right,
it goes to a Google, it goes to my private Google. So we're not Barnados are not Google efficient, as it were. So
right, okay.
You need to put a direct link into the invite, please, sir.
Yeah, okay, no worries. I'll take a look.
All right, with that being said, I am a little bit more proficient on sharing screens, so I will share a screen. And can you let me know when you can see it, please? Brilliant.
Yeah, we've got it.
All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Daniel Sherry. I am the Children's Services Manager at Barnados and leading on the Solihull approach. And I'll ask my colleague to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Janine Robertson and I'm the Senior Practitioner for the Solihull approach team.
Brilliant. Thanks, Janine. Please tell me if I'm dropping in and out. But we were commissioned by Hackney to deliver on the Solihull approach from 2024. It was March 2024, and it was planned to be until March 2025. We've recently been granted additional funding to go until March 2026. We're delivering a range of programs. And those programs are for professionals and under the Solihull approach, and then we've got a range of programs for parents. The pairing program is free to Hackney residents and it's a universal offer. So the Solihull approach, which we can speak to in a bit, just by a show of hands or just some icons, how many people are aware of the Solihull approach in Hackney? Like just 2 out of 17? John, I'm hoping your hand goes up there. 3, there's a few more.
I'm working out how to do it, and I can't.
There you go. So there's quite a few people. And then I don't know if you can see, Janine, but just by a show of hands, has anyone completed the foundation training workshop? Is that no icons whatsoever?
Okay.
Please speak to me, folks, because if that's the case, then I'm not that upset to be here, because we would assume that there'd be a lot more people that have. Does that include carers who are not the parents? For professionals, so the professional foundation workshop is it's a 2-day foundation program, but for carers who are not parents who maybe are fostering, or the person that's just put that question in the chat, can you just tell me what it is you're asking explicitly, please? Don't be shy, just talk to us. Oh, grandparent care. Yeah, that's for anybody who is caring responsibilities for children in living in Hackney. So the criteria, as you can see on the screen: expected parents, pregnant families, parents and families 0 to 19 years old. I'm not going to read it all out because I'm hoping you can all read that clearly. And that includes the support and care around the families as well. So that's right. Parents and also primary carers. It could be aunts, uncles, foster parents, people who've got primary care for those children and supporting the growth of those children. So we've got.
It's quite wide, the program. In terms of accessing it, you just need to be a Hackney resident. But in terms of who can access it, as Daniel said, it's not just the parents, it's essentially the village around the family. So we've run parenting courses where best friends have been coming along to do the training with their best friend and making sure they're supported throughout. So it's very open in that regard.
Thanks, Janine. So Solihull postnatal.
So this is our understanding
the child, right? Do you want to speak to that first?
Yeah, so we run 3 different parenting courses at the moment. Understanding our child is Solihull's 10-week parenting course. We've just begun doing that since January and are about to run the 2nd cohort in the Woodbury Down area post the Easter break, so in 2 weeks' time. But that course is aimed at people that have children between 1 and 5, turning 6 next birthday. That's the maximum cutoff. However, it covers a range of things. So we meet weekly with our parents. It's a very informal setting. So there's always teas, coffees, sweet things, healthy things like fruit as well, but just trying to make people feel as comfortable as possible. but each week is a different topic. So some of them are listed here, but we cover things such as anger and self-regulation. There's a big push throughout the program on parents kind of understanding the importance of their own emotional well-being and being able to contain themselves and seek support with that if they need, in order to then be able to offer the same to their children and their family. We also very much are kind of supporting them to begin to think about their children's behavior in terms of it being communication, rather than just being, my child is being naughty, they're tantruming, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, well, what is the behavior community? What need is it that we may need to meet with for that child? Our hope for them, one of our key hopes across all of our parenting groups, which will go into the others, but one of the key hopes is that we're kind of reducing isolation for our parents. Some of them don't have anybody, they're single parents, they don't have anyone around them, they're not actually from England, so their family's abroad. So these groups are really important for them, and they've began to create their own relationships. And parenting can be quite an isolating experience at times, especially the first time. So that's one of our key outcomes, and something that we've been seeing across all the groups since we've been delivering since September. We hope that they get to really understand the importance of their own self-care, and also kind of take a bit more of a gentle approach to parenting that is led, essentially emotions-led, feelings-led. I'm checking in with my child, I'm able to contain their feelings, and kind of support them to then be able to self-regulate for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's really important once we go into the actual model. So the model of the Solihull approach has got 3 areas. I didn't put it in this slide, so because in the slide deck, because I'd like you all to join the training, to be fair. But the 3 areas that we speak to is containment, reciprocity, and behaviour management. And Hackney have commissioned us to do this because they want this model, this Solihull approach, as part of their 1001 days and key funding for early years and child service practitioners, is that this is the model of choice. So that area of containment, reciprocity, and behaviour management, the 2 first areas are the bits that are really important. And as Janine was speaking about, we provide a sense of belonging, a sense of freedom to be able to speak about what's happening for these parents that are on the courses, a sense of community. The reciprocity piece is that there's other people that are on the workshop that they can relate to. And when we deliver on these workshops, we deliver it as a sense of community. They're able to see people that look like them as well. In that they've got a lot of people from different cultures that are delivering on the workshop, myself included. I deliver on the workshop, Janine does, and we've got 2 other practitioners that deliver, that represent some of the global majority that we're meeting. And the other bit that's really good about how we go out of Barnados is because it's fully funded. We've also got, being one of the biggest children's charities in the country, we've also got access to additional bits of information and support that those parents can get. So that bit of containment and the reciprocity piece, we've been really proud to be able to pass on, not only to the parents, but also to the professionals who we're working with. But the next workshop that we speak to is the postnatal, the 6-week course, which is understanding your baby. My throat's a little bit scratchy, and I'm going to ask Janine again if you could just speak to the postnatal workshop.
Yeah, so this is our 6-week course. It's one of the first that we began delivering last year. We're a relatively new team. We all kind of came together, the majority of us anyway, 3 of the 4 from June, and then our final person, Leonette, joined in September. So we're still quite new to the borough. And this was one of our first parenting courses that we began in September, and we've run, I think, about 4 now, or 5 actually. But it's a 6-week course. It's very much geared towards supporting parents to understand the importance of their relationship with their child from the earliest point possible, which the next course kind of covers as well. but the importance for their development, for their long-term, I guess, outcomes in terms of how they relate to others, their ability to have healthy relationships, emotional resilience, positive mental health. These are the foundations. So we give kind of psychoeducation around brain development and the importance of those moment-to-moment interactions. We also kind of cover really practical things with them. So we look at sleeping, weaning. We look at, maybe you're about to finish your maternity leave, go back to study, to work. What does that mean for you emotionally? What does that mean practically in terms of childcare options that are out there for you? And again, very much about building a community around each one of these parents that they then can sustain themselves. And that's what we've seen happen, is that once we've kind of, we've exited the building, they are kind of creating their own WhatsApp groups. They're still meeting each other. They're still making sure that everyone feels supported.
The thing that's been really nice again about this workshop, and I've been delivering on it, is we had a number of parents who come back and they've really enjoyed and valued it. They've given us some really positive feedback. They've rippled it out, so they've spoken to other parents. So they've recommended other parents come on the course, and it is because of the way. And I'm gonna boast a little bit on my staff team, the staff team that I work with, because they're going out and doing the outreach. They're coming out in the community and meeting the parents. Because of their nature and the way in which they go out and promote these services, and I include myself in that, I will, just for a minute. People get that understanding, or parents get that understanding that there is some additional support out there for them, and that this isn't about them being bad parents at all.
Exactly.
They've been given a really nice contained space to be themselves. And as Janine was speaking about in the Understanding Your Child workshops, some of these parents are very isolated. Some of these parents, and I'm going to speak to some of the dads as well, have felt that they've been getting it wrong. And when we speak about that containment and the reciprocity piece, the people that often get it wrong are the people that didn't carry the baby. And when I've delivered this workshop, we've delivered it in an afternoon, on an evening online workshop. It's also been met with parents who, in the next course we're going to talk about, their babies were born, they were unable to go into the antenatal workshop, and they were so pleased and so keen to be involved that we had on an online evening workshop. Ooh, that's a good question, and I will answer that in a minute, Rachel. The dads came on to the program, and the mum and dads came on in the evening, and it was lovely to actually see the entire family with newborn babies. I think the youngest we had was a 5 or 6 year old, 6 week old baby, which had recently been born. So it was really, really nice to actually provide that space and get the positive feedback. The other bit that we speak to in the postnatal workshop is Hackney have asked us to do what is called the Moores questionnaire. So we do it pre and post, what parents get if they complete that, and we've given them an incentive, not an incentive to complete it, but we've given it to them as a thank you. So we give them £20 worth of vouchers, £10 for completing the first one and £10 for completing the second one. We also had donated Christmas presents. So at Christmas we did a really amazing, well, I was Santa in a grotto, and we gave families Christmas presents in December, and I'm sure we're just done something for Mother's Day at the Understanding Your Child. So we're funded enough to do some additional added value stuff that the parents really value. Antenatal workshop, because Janine is the best person for speaking about this, and I don't want to be the only person speaking, I'm going to let Janine do the
Okay, so yeah, with our antenatal course, it's 5 weeks, and as I kind of spoke about earlier, we really are trying to support our parents and families to understand the importance of that relationship. So for our pregnant families that are coming to us, it's very much the understanding that even now, even as you are growing your baby, you know, the conversations you're having in vitro, like these are also ways of you connecting and beginning to understand the importance of nurturing this child. It's very much about preparation emotionally and practically. So we do cover the things you would expect on antenatal courses. So we do cover like labor, you know, have you organized your support system around you, you know, for the time that you do go into the hospital, for when you come out. We look at things such as feeding options, pain relief options, as well as, you know, very much focus on, well, how are you experiencing your pregnancy, and making sure that they are looking after themselves emotionally.
The thing that's really interesting about these programs is the running theme in that we speak to the Solihull approach, which is, and you're all going to remember by the end of our speaking, which is containment, reciprocity, and behaviour management. And what we're hoping you're going to do is after this, you decide, actually, I really want to get involved in this, especially the voluntary sector. We really want to promote to take up the training and get the understanding behind the Solihull approach. That when you go on that course, and I'm going to skip to that slide, these are just some of the posters that we use when we're promoting it, and I put up some information on here about what we've done so far. But what I find really helpful is that within the 2-day foundation course that professionals will learn, we speak to the whole process, and a lot of the materials that we use in those courses that Janine so eloquently presented just now, it's wrapped up with all of the background knowledge and all the information about where Solihull comes from. There's a number of videos that are shown. There is some practice that we go through. It's a 2-day program. So colleagues, if you are going to be coming to it, we deliver it a full day. We provide lunch. We also say to staff,
and it's all in person as well.
Yeah.
It's just to say that, because I think a lot of people are online training out. So we deliver from Ann Taylor. That's held monthly. Day 1 and day 2 are not consecutive. So you have day 1, you have a 2-week break, you come back for your second day. And that's just because we just want to give you time to kind of take in the knowledge that's been downloaded, hopefully, on day 1. But also there's a short kind of homework exercise. And I say homework, but it's so light. It's literally 30 seconds of observing an interaction between a parent and child that you can do anywhere, on a bus even. And then we come back, and it's very kind of practical and very much how can I use this approach in practice. So we look at things such as adverse childhood experiences. We look at brain development. We give you the kind of the understanding of the approach, the theory, the 3 key areas, and among other things.
Yeah, and as you can see, we've got dates booked up, or dates available until September. We are really keen, as I just said, to get more people from the charity voluntary sector to get involved. But it's free, and when I mean free, it's completely free. All you need to do is be freed up to be able to come and attend for the 2 sessions. We have a 2-week period between day 1 and day 2, so that people are able to go away and really put into practice some of the things they've learned in day 1. And then when we come back in day 2, again, we provide lunch, we have lots of breaks. And so far, and Janine, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, we've got 100% positive feedback.
Yeah.
And the professionals who've been on it are going out and far and wide and telling people that it's a really worthwhile model. We've already delivered to about 87 professionals. And we've been doing this since June, because we had our
94 now.
So 94
now.
94 people have already, and out of that 94, there's about 28 people who want to go on to become foundation workshop trainers. So we're going to be doing some trainer workshops shortly. And 23 people have already expressed an interest. So I'm saying that to say we really want you on this call to have a look at the foundation workshop and join. So also the thing that we've got here, we've got QR codes. How do the professionals you have trained keep in touch with and continue to learn from one another? That's a good question, Jenny. And we will answer these straight afterwards. So you'll see there's QR codes. What we've done, and I'm sure people are QR code and probably survey fatigued, but this takes you straight to a booking line.
So I've also shared the link in the chat.
Yeah, so it takes you straight to our website. You're able to have a look at the dates that are on there, sign up to it. All you have to be is a person who is working for the foundation workshops, working in voluntary sector or any commissioned service in Hackney or part of Hackney services. You can sign up for the professional workshops. If you are a parent or you know of parents that are interested, again, on the same QR code on one of the other slides, it takes you straight to the page, and we have the different workshops aligned. So what I would say to you as professionals is, if you open the QR code yourself and you're speaking to parents about it, get them to sign up there and then with you. If you've got a work phone or a work tablet or even a laptop, you can get them to sign up there and then. And what we're finding is people who sign up there and then, we will do a warm call. So we touch base with those parents especially, and remind them when the courses are due. There is
Check out
no
any needs
pressure.
that they have.
Yeah, it's free. We provide lunch for all the in-person stuff. We send vouchers for parents who are doing the online workshops. We do a prize draw for a particular quiz that we do in the foundation for professionals, and we try to do this in a way that is conducive to different people's learning. The last thing I wanted to talk about, go ahead, Janine.
No, I just so I also just wanted to very quickly share, because I'm aware of timing, but we are also after Easter beginning to pilot young parent only sessions.
There you are.
So we very much want to make sure that, you know, that particular cohort of parent isn't kind of left behind. Both of us had experience of working with this group in our previous youth work careers, but you know, we're very, very passionate about making sure they're supported. So we're at the moment, we're about to, starting Thursday, the 24th of April, we'll be running a young parent only antenatal group. So we're working with the public health midwives to identify young parents. But if you know anyone, feel free to please just contact me directly. I'll give John my details to share more widely, so that we can kind of touch base with you about your young person. But we're also going to be doing understanding your child, more likely to be maybe a bit of a blend of baby as well, depending on the age of the children that are coming along with their parents. But we'll be doing postnatal sessions starting the Monday the 12th, and that's going to be out of Ann Taylor. But we're very keen to make sure that young people know about it and are able to access it. We want them to have a space that they feel is theirs, and it can be quite difficult for young people to come to our universal services where there are older parents, fear of judgment, not feeling quite comfortable, and we're trying to make sure that as part of our offer to them, we're kind of helping them to access some other services as well alongside that. So anyone who's interested in making sure young people know about what you're doing, also please contact us about that.
Just so you know, we're also in consultation with our comms team to get some young people friendly publicity. So the publicity that you're seeing on screen is for our I guess our adult parents. We really want to be working with those young parents, and I'd say they're part of the young Hackney ages. So we're assuming it's going to be anything from 13 to 19 and up to 25 with SEND needs. So we know that there's a large number of young people that, as Janine said, won't use and will feel a little bit, to use the word, intimidated or worried about being in a session with more adult parents. And Hackney has definitely got a really good co-production services about working with and speaking to young people and making them feel comfortable. And what we do is we tap right into that, and we're hoping to have a even if it's 7 or 8, 6 or 7 young people that join, and then that will start to ripple out. So I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, maybe just the questions now, Dan.
Yeah, I guess let's answer some questions. So let me just stop sharing, and then I can see everyone again. Any questions?
So we had a couple in the chat, didn't we?
Yeah, shall I go through? Thank you.
Yeah,
that sounds fantastic. It sounds like an absolutely brilliant program of support. So I'm just going to run through the questions in the chat. So Rachel asked, do you work with parents with primary school aged kids too, or is it only for newborns?
Well, see, because we are commissioned to work with the first 1,001 days initially, and it's the Start for Life program, we want to, but we are commissioned to work with those the first 3 years, and up to 5 is what we said for the understanding the child. So unfortunately, at the moment, if we get some more money, then yes, we will. But currently, we're commissioned to work with that Start for Life money. So it's really important that we stay within those KPIs. That doesn't mean to say, though, that families with older children, as long as they have a young child in there, then
they can access. And that's what's happening at the moment in the Understanding Child program. We have parents that have a full range, and we're able to kind of talk about all of it and support them around all of the children. But, you know, their access to the sessions has been through the youngest.
And when you come on the foundation program, you'll understand why when you go through the knowledge. So I'm trying my best not to give you all the information here. That's why I hid some of the slides. Rachel, I see your hand, and I saw Pamela's hand as well.
I just wanted to quickly thank you. I think I might have even mentioned this person in the last session I attended, but it's someone that I know locally who's really struggling, and whenever I'm in a session, I'm just open to hearing what's available, and I've got a really good feeling about you guys. So really I live in London. I mean, I work at Hackney CDS, and I've got a different context, but this is more someone that I know locally who's a single mum with 2 boys, and the young one actually is 3.
Yeah.
It's the older one though she's really I would say struggling, but also coping too, and she's also very kind of proud. So I don't want to intrude, but I am also really aware of, I'm very fond of the family, and I'm aware of how difficult it is for her, and the impact on the kids. So anyway,
can I say that Rachel, you've got in Janine and my colleagues and in myself, I hope, a real empathetic team that support parents, and the way in which we deliver the workshops, it's not intrusive. We look at parents as being the experts in their household. I also deliver another parenting program with parents who have got children at risk of serious youth violence, so I'm commissioned to do that in a separate borough. But right here, if they've got a 3-year-old, they fit within the criteria. The models and the thing that they learn in the understanding of your child is adaptable all the way through until 19 and 20.
And so, very happy to kind of support any conversation that you want to have with her about it. Even having a kind of conversation with her.
It's interesting because I don't want to intrude, but I'm also aware. I've shared a few things with her recently. She actually said to me, Rachel, thank you for sharing those things. So I thought, oh, okay. So she is open
open.
Rachel, can I ask, have you done the foundation workshop?
No, I don't work with. Oh,
please! I really want you to sign up. I think one of the things that we speak to, and I do see Pamela's hands. One of the things that we speak to in the foundation workshop is that the model is something that we will use everywhere. It's not something that is restricted to parents. It's something that we speak to in that we work with each other. We use the study whole approach, and we work with as when I'm working with my team, when you're working with your staff team, when you're working with parents, when you're working in the community, it's an approach that can be used everywhere. So I would strongly encourage you to join, because I think you'd be an amazing candidate.
Oh, well, I'm the kind of person that people reach out to in my local area. But and I'm aware of things that come up. So I'll look into it for sure.
I see Pamela's, and I'm conscious of time. We're eating into a lot of it, so apologies. Pamela, hi.
Hiya, thank you, Daniel and Janine. It's really helpful. Just in terms of social care, obviously this will be really beneficial to our families, and it's something I've already sent. I sent the link, so thank you, Janine. I sent it straight to my service and said, look, please, look into this. But one thing I did notice from the website is that it's the families, the way it's done, for them to book a space and not professionals. So is that something that actually a professional can do on behalf of the family?
Yes, you can. Well, I would say you must do it in conjunction with those parents. So speak to that parent. What you can do is support them, because not all parents have access to the tools to be able to book it online. So ideally, we want parents to, first and foremost, because it's free and they volunteer to it, we want them to buy into it. The way in which they buy into it is because you're an amazing professional and you've bought into it. So it's that ripple effect. When you can talk into the program, parents will then sign up to it. They will either sign up to it on their own phones, or what you will do, if you've got it on your phone, is you will share it with them and you will say to them, why not sign up with me? And I find that very useful when you can support a parent to do that.
Oh. Yeah, that's definitely, that's the ideal that we will obviously want to do. But sometimes obviously a parent's on a CP plan and they're really quite annoyed. They don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. So is that something that actually it'll be really beneficial if they speak to the service as well, if we refer and we
100%. We'd happily have those sorts of conversations. And
we will come out. We when I say we, the royal we, Janine and the staff team are doing a lot of outreach. So we will deliver the workshops where it's required. It's a pan Hackney service that's universal. We're also connected with the services that are doing the targeted stuff. So we've got the community that are delivering. We've got a range of people who are delivering it for not us personally, but other commission services are delivering it for the Muslim communities. And also, once you get onto the resources, once you've completed the courses, you get access to the Solihull approach resources for the next 3 years. So in addition to getting the training, you're able to go in there, able to do more courses, and that's both parents and professionals. And they are delivering it in a massive range of languages, far outweighing my simple English.
Thank you. That's
Sorry,
really
I
helpful.
realised. Sorry,
Thank-
Pamela. Go on.
I just said thank you. That's helpful.
Thanks, Pamela and Rachel, for your question.
Jenny had asked one
I'm just-
question in the chat.
Sorry, Janine. I'm just going to cut in quickly because
Yeah.
Vernon from Young Minds has joined us, and I think Vernon, you have to leave at 5.
Okay.
And Vernon,
Yeah, we're going to stop now.
No
We're
problem.
conscious.
well, we can come back to the questions in the chat after. I just wanted
No
to
worries.
let Vernon speak about his.
I have
You
to
need
say
to go.
bye now, but it's been so
Okay.
great meeting you all.
I'll still be here.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Janine.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Janine.
Cheers. So I'm just going to bring in Vernon now. He's going to speak about, I believe, the parent and carers panel that Young Minds are running. Is that right, Vernon?
That's right. Hopefully you can hear me. Can
Yeah,
everybody hear me
perfect.
okay? Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for short notice, but I am delighted just to be able to share about the Young Minds Parent Panel that we are setting up at the moment. It is a pilot which is going to be lasting a year, and we hope that there's enough sort of evidence of impact that it will go beyond that. But I just thought I'd give you the highlights. If there's any questions that you've got for me, I'm delighted to answer them either now or I will send some information out after today. So essentially the parent helpline is going to be a group of parents and carers that we're looking to assemble from across the UK to meet 4 times a year essentially. And that parent panel is to help the organisation Young Minds in terms of our parent helpline, just to better serve what we call the underserved. So we're aware that Black, racialized, minoritized communities are underserved by us. We last year we had managed to serve around 13,000 people overall with the helpline. We want to serve more, both in terms of volume, but also in terms of sections of the community. So Black, minoritized, racialized parents, particularly, also dads and male parents and carers. We also want representation on that panel so that we can get some insights from a range of people. The age group that we serve in terms of young people are 0 to 25, and parents and carers of young people of that age cohort. We are interested in for them to put forward what we call an expression of interest at this stage. So we're not looking necessarily for parents who have got lots of experience dealing with problems with their young people. We're looking for a range of parents to come forward who can engage with this panel process, and from the output of the panel, what we're hoping is that it will help to inform the development of our helpline services and our advisors. So it's really about helping to advance our ability to reach people that we are challenged to reach more ably. So the key things really for today that I just want to sort of express, and again, if you've got any questions, do let me know, is that we want to recruit 12 to 15 people through a very simple process. So the deadline is next Friday, the 11th of April. From that deadline, we will shortlist and we will have interviews. We call it interviews, but in essence, it's quite a low-level process. So we're not looking to grill people endlessly. We just want to make sure it's a good match and that they can commit to these 4 meetings a year. These meetings will probably be hybrid in all reality. So those who are in London will probably be able to meet in person at Young Minds offices. For those who are not able to get to each meeting in person, then we will be having this hybrid ability to link people in from across the country as well. The panelists will be supported in terms of expenses to travel to panel meetings, and we will also be holding individual discussions with panelists who have been selected to look at their support needs, so childcare, etc., that we can make sure that they can have the every opportunity to remove the barriers that would prevent them from participating. We did look at paying people, and we found that there was an issue around potential impact negatively on benefits. So we will be recognizing and evaluating the input from panelists through vouchers. So we will have a voucher scheme. We will be using that, and as panelists participate, they will have vouchers alongside of their expenses and other related costs to being part of the panel. In essence, we're trying to do everything we can to make it as easy as possible for people to connect, be involved with the panel, and beyond the actual panel meetings across a year. They probably will last around 3 hours each. We will also be giving people opportunities if they are willing and able to contribute in other ways to the organization. It may be that some people are keen to maybe write blog posts about their experiences, or to take part in podcasts, etc., where we're trying to, as I said, ultimately reach more people, and we need to look at the different ways in which we can do that. So that, in essence, is the offer that's on the table. We do have a QR code, and I will send forward to either Jenny or Abby a standard email for people to kind of go through with the details I've just outlined. It will have the QR code on it, and it will also have some attachments. One attachment will be the very basic ad that kind of bullet points and highlights the key information. The second one is a role description, so they can reflect perhaps on their skills and knowledge and get a sense of what fit they may have. But we are welcoming those particular groups that I mentioned before, not exclusively, but we do know that is the underrepresented sort of insights and feedback that we are seeking to bring on board within this particular structure called the parent panel. And at that point, I will stop my spiel, and if there are any questions that you've got, be delighted to take any of those questions on in the short time I've got left.
Thanks, Vernon. Does anyone have any questions? I actually had one, but does anyone else want to come in at this point?
I think not me, but Charles had a question in the chat as well, which is what age the people who'd apply need to be.
Okay. So the age of the people, because it's a parent panel, it's aimed at parents and carers, and it's parents and carers of young people between the ages of 0 to 25 years old.
Thanks, Vernon.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, I know you said it's to kind of inform your own services like the helpline, but will any of the discussions or findings will they only be shared internally, or will they be sort of published publicly? I was just wondering, because I mean, they'd also be useful to influence the council services or other organisation services that are trying to do a similar thing.
Well, I believe that we are looking to share some of those findings as well. One of the things in terms of the direction of the organisation at the moment, we are looking to do more partnership working, more community-based working with other organisations. So what we're trying to do is to gain the knowledge, first and foremost, to better equip our own resource, but also to share some of that learning, because surprise, surprise, our challenge of reaching the groups that I've outlined is a challenge that I see and we see many times across local authorities and other professionals and service providers. So we will want to share, because we do feel that A, partnership working is really important, but B, again, for our own service, we wanted to continually improve that.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Vernon. That's good to know. Jenny?
Yeah, really, really happy to hear about this piece of work, but also know how challenging it is to get parents to sort of, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're doing a lot to accommodate childcare and all the things that can get in the way. And I guess I was interested in whether, I mean, we have so many amazing services working with families in Hackney. Some of them don't talk as well to each other as they could, and that's one of the reasons why we were holding this space. But I guess our team worked with quite a lot of organisations working in kind of grassroots sort of community-based ways of real wraparound support and providing culturally appropriate support to sort of Black and global majority communities and those of the Orthodox Jewish community and other groups that are sort of underserved in your. I guess I'm wondering whether is there also I suppose one of the things we found works quite well is going out to those organisations who are working with those families and having a chat over a cup of tea. I appreciate you probably, there's limited resource and time to do all of this stuff, but if you did, to enrich the insight and learning through this piece of work, in addition to that panel, if you did want us to connect you to some of the community-based organisations providing support for families. I mean, we've got Daniel on the phone who just did a brilliant presentation about all their amazing work, and I know that there may well be parents interested through that, but obviously you've got limited numbers, and the richness of the insight that's out there, if there were opportunities or ways to feed in addition to your panel group, just thinking about how much great work is out there and how much learning there's been, and we'd love to contribute. And I really like the Young Minds site. I've used the resources on there quite a lot of the times when supporting young people, so I really appreciate the work you do, and glad to meet you.
Brilliant. Well, Julie, just a very quick response to your kind of sort of flagging the whole thing of connecting. My role as a parent engagement officer is about going out. I'm part of a job share with my colleague Joe Walsh, and we will go out to anybody basically as groups who support parents and families to give a presentation. If it's 5 minutes, if it's 50 minutes, we don't mind, because we want to engage with people out there. And really what we see our service as is very much additionality to what people are doing, because it's very unique in many respects in terms of, ultimately it's about an individual as an advisor who is, has a professional background, clinician, therapist, etc., who can speak to a parent and give the space for a parent to speak to ultimately. We want to get that message out there, but we also want to link with those community-based organizations to share some of those insights mutually, so that we can better serve the people that we are all committed to and looking for the best ways to do that. So if there are any sort of leads that people have in terms of organizations that are out there, please do. I will drop with the email my contact details. Please do get in touch. Jill and I will look at our diaries. We are limited in terms of our own personal capacity, but we will look to see if there are ways that we can link with groups, and we do it all the time in terms of information sessions where we are both passing information out but also taking the feedback in as well and sharing information. So thank you for that little prompt there, Jenny. I'm certainly going to take you up on that challenge.
Great, thanks Vernon, thanks Jenny. Daniel, did you want to come in quickly before Vernon?
Just really quickly, Vernon, it would be great, touch base with us, because we're working out of the Ann Taylor Centre. As we've said, we are working with the family hub, so if you haven't already got a contact with those senior leads at the family hubs, I can put you in contact with them, and I would gladly have you come in and do some additionality work, as you named it. We're at the end of any of our workshops, and that would also include coming across to the foundation workshop. If that was something that you wanted to do and come down and speak to professionals, then you're more than welcome to do that as well. So get in touch with us.
Awesome. Thank you for that offer, Daniel. We'll definitely follow up with you on that and see what we can arrange and do together. Thank you. Brilliant. Well, unfortunately, it's a quick dip in and dip out, but it did feel like there was lots of energy, and it certainly feels as though there's probably going to be lots more after I've left. But I will send on the information to Jenny and Abby in terms of the parent panel. So anybody interested, do point out to them that the deadline is just over a week away on the 11th of April. I'm hoping that we can get a good mix of people who can enrich this structure. But beyond that, definitely interested in making links with various organisations and groups of professionals as well. So thank you very much for having me this afternoon, and look forward to hopefully getting some representations and expressions of interest from Hackney as well.
Great. Thanks a lot, Vernon. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Great. We can return to the questions for you now, Daniel, if you're still up for answering them. Or Charlie, did you want to come in quickly?
I had some questions for Daniel, if that's all right.
Yeah, it's all right if I just go through the ones in the chat first, because I think they've been there for a while, and then I can come to you, Charlie. So I think we got up to Genevieve's question, which was around first course on behaviour. Are parents of children with SEND, autism, ADHD welcome?
So I guess the answer to that is the parents are. We're talking mild to moderate because sometimes it can, and we've had a lot of speech and language therapists join the workshop. So all parents are welcome, it's universal. And should we find out that they need additional support, we will signpost to additional services as well. So when it comes to additional needs, we're happy to have the conversation. We're happy to provide the support, but if there's additional support, we're also happy to signpost on.
Perfect. Thanks, Daniel. Jenny asked about how do the professionals you have trained keep in touch with and continue to learn from one another?
So there is a professionals almost cohort where they touch base around the Solihull approach, and that is by someone named Penelope. I'll have to get the full name. They piloted it. And what we want to do is to bounce that back to Hackney, because it's something that's going to be needed. If we've trained 97 people, then that whole keeping warm and keeping the whole model alive is something that's really, really important. So we're doing a refresher course, as we said, and there is a professional think box or circle for keeping the process alive, but it's limited at the moment. So I will take that question back to our commission to see what it is they want to do within the next year for that.
Great, thanks, Daniel. Jenny, did you want to come back on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in addition to what you're doing, that you mentioned, if you wanted to link any of those that have been trained back to this session, obviously it's not specifically a community practice around the Solihull approach and support for 0 to 5s, but it is a forum where I think everybody, it's fair to say everyone in this space is committed to making things fairer for Hackney residents, and to so it's actually a really great way of staying in touch. And so if it was, we're looking to rebrand it. I know it's sort of, it sounds, having poverty reductions, it makes it sound like, I think for some people who don't really understand poverty, it makes it sound like it's all about money, but actually the space has always been about what children need, what adults need, mental health, domestic violence, everything that people are dealing with day to day. So I guess, if it's, we really want to grow this network even bigger. We've got, I think, about 900 frontline staff on the mailing list at the moment, John. So anything that goes in our newsletter reaches out to them. But equally, the more people we can get connected into this space, the more they can get connected up with what else is happening in communities. And we're always out there trying to persuade people to come to one meeting and just see if it's useful. And then if it's useful, I think there's a few on the call. There's Rachel was someone who I persuaded to come along. Janine I met at an event and persuaded to come along, so I'm so happy that you were able to come today. And then Rye's joining us for the first time as well, and I will flag for Rye the opportunity that Vernon suggested as well, and your work, because I think there's synergies there. But just to say, if it's useful for those that you're promoting, to let them know about this session, that it is about sort of anything that's coming up in terms of what residents need, because particularly those parents in that group are going to need a lot of different supports over time.
Absolutely. And we really wanted to be getting out to, so we've gone out and done some visits with the family navigators, gone out to the hotels, gone out to the hostels, and really want to meet those parents where they are. So that's the effort that we're putting into really promoting this. And equally as important, I think we've done an exclusive session for Hackney Play Bus for their professionals. The bit around this is, once those professionals have completed it, we want more people to decide that they want to see that they want to do the foundation. Can I just take this call quickly?
Yeah, go for it. This sounds like a good time for you to come in, Rachel.
although I was hoping to get Daniel's attention, but that's fine. I just thought, because one of my colleagues, Lola, who is from our neighbourhoods team, and the neighbourhoods teams organise all sorts of forums around Hackney, and she's actually got a forum coming up next week at the Anne Taylor Centre, and I think I wrote the details of the forum and what it's about. But because I don't personally work around issues with young people in my job, I didn't feel like I could really be that much help to her. But she really wants to spread the word. They're having the forum that they're having on the 9th of April is around health support for children and young people, especially in the context of obesity and nutrition. So basically the neighbourhood forums, I mean, maybe you already know this, but within the neighbourhood forums, they bring together residents, but also local people from different organisations and people from the NHS to discuss particular health issues that are important to people in those neighbourhoods. And in London Fields neighbourhood, one of the issues they wanted to focus on was young people's health in terms of eating well and nutrition and obesity. So this session is specifically on that topic. And I think she was very keen to find a way to really reach out to local families to make sure that families would attend that who might actually be in need of the information. I don't know how easy it is to reach. You know, often professionals come to those meetings and we've been flyering around, but I just wondered if, you know, like Daniel, who's on a call now, but, you know, if there are people in this meeting who might have connection with families in the London Fields neighbourhood who might benefit from that. It sounds like she's putting a lot of energy into it. There's going to be, I think, somebody coming and doing a food workshop, and it's going to be quite an active and fun event as well. Sorry, I can't say more about it, but I've also got a flyer that I can send by email, and maybe that can be shared. But what's it called? Fueling the Future, Helping Children and Young People to Eat Well and Thrive. That's the title. And it's next week, 9th of April.
Yeah, if you send me the flyer and any other info, Rachel, I can put it in the newsletter, which will probably
Thank you,
go
John.
out tomorrow or Monday.
I know your newsletter last time had a brilliant response for me. I had a very good. I built a new friendship with Everlette from the Pedro Club, and then ended up meeting her in person a few days later. So it's all.
Well, that's
me,
therefore, so
I say thanks to Jenny for inviting me, even though it's not my working day today. I'm someone that really, I thrive in my work from making those connections. So that's I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you coming along. It's really good to have you here. And if you want anything else included in the newsletter, then just let me know.
Okay, cool. Will do. No, because I can see that your newsletter is read and taken notice of. So good.
Nice one. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone else has any ideas for how to spread the word about that event. I was thinking, is the Richmond Road GP practice in the London Fields area, isn't it? And they're very active, so that might
I'm sure that Lola, my colleague, I'm sure she's already done all of that. It was just I thought I'll do my extra, you know, to kind of, you know, I think whenever anybody hosts an event, it can be quite nerve-wracking beforehand, and you get a bit anxious, and are people going to come? Are the right, you know? So I just want to make sure I'm sure she's done a lot. She's already done a lot of spreading the word.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Rachel. Charlie?
Just put it in the chat, Rachel, but Denise works at the Anne Taylor Community Centre as a partnership and play coordinator, and maybe someone who I know works directly with families in the London Fields area. I'm sure we've worked with her for some other things, and I'm sure she'd be receptive about promoting that as well. It's at the Children's Centre anyway, so hopefully people are connected, but just in case. In terms of other promotion, I'm just going to do my usual spiel to say that we're still working with Crew Energy in terms of getting energy advisors out into community settings, doing kind of light touch energy advice and providing energy saving equipment in order to reduce people's energy bills, but also having a referral option to a more in-depth home visit by an advisor who can help look at people's boilers if they have a higher level of need. We're booking for May now in terms of them attending any public sessions. If you're interested in them attending anything you're running, let me know. We've got availability Tuesday to Friday. I'll put my email in the chat, but if you want to liaise with me, we'll hopefully get that booked in. We've seen a load of people in the last few months. I'll try and get a number and I'll put it in the chat.
Nice one, thanks, Charlie. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Does anyone else have any other questions or things they want to share with the group? This is kind of when we draw the meeting to the close. We usually just open up the floor for anyone to come in, raise a concern, a question, any connections they want to make with people across the system that we might be able to facilitate. Anything going on in your organisation that you want to get the word out about. Now is your chance to do so. Rachel.
Sorry, I might as well use the opportunity. Here's another thing. So one of the lunch clubs that I work with, Nightingale Lunch Club, we're doing a lot of work with the clubs at the moment to strengthen their, strengthen them going forwards into quite a challenging period for funding applications, etc. But Nightingale Lunch and Club is holding an AGM next week on Wednesday, and I want to help spread the word about their AGM to people living in the Nightingale Estate area, plus like Hackney Downs neighbourhood. I know that they will already be spreading the word, and that it is mainly for, an AGM is mainly for people that are already members, but they really need some help as well to kind of spread the word to other people to potentially come, I believe, and support them and get involved. So I just thought actually having an AGM is an opportunity for them. So I don't know, I'm going to kind of send it out in an email to various people I know, but if anyone here has got any ideas about that particular area, it could be Charles maybe, like how to reach out to people in that area, or who best to send my email to, basically. I would be grateful for any support.
Rachel, I will come in.
Yeah.
Do you still have Nigel's email from when we organised that thing with Alex a while back? You from housing. I don't know.
Maybe, but yes, probably I do. But is it Nigel from housing?
Yeah, Nigel would be the best port of call. He's the area housing manager that covers Nightingale. I don't know if they've got an officer. There's been a lot of changes in staff in that area, so I don't know if they have a consistent officer, but Nigel should be able to help at least point you in the right direction.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much, Charles. Yeah.
And yeah, right, I'll send you an email.
Thanks, everyone. Does anyone else have anything they want to say at this point? Rai, do you want to come in?
Hi everyone. Thanks for inviting me here. Hopefully I'll be able to come to the next one a lot earlier. I got in late today. I was just wondering, John, if I'd be able to share our parent sessions that's coming up for parents that's struggling. Parents that's struggling with young people in schools, whether that's the year 6 to 7 transition or exclusions or behaviour issues. We've got about 18 spaces. A couple of them have gone, but if we can try and if there's anyone that's interested in that would be great. And we also have Daphne's Dominoes, which are for over 55s. If anyone would like to come along and play a game of dominoes with the group, that would be fantastic to see them at the Beta Hub. Thank you.
Thanks, Rai. That's great. If you want to send me any information you want me to put in the newsletter, I'm not sure I think we've shared the newsletter with you, but if not, let me know. But yeah, if you want me to put anything in the newsletter, just email me or Charlie or Jenny, whoever's contact you've got, and I can put it in there if that's helpful. Charlie, do you want to come in?
Right. Do you know Daniel from Skyway? They've been doing loads of work with that kind of year transition group. They might be a really good person to reach out to about that kind of period. I'll email you anyway, so I'll include the details. But just a shout out because I know that they do a lot of work in that space as well.
Skyway, we're actually all in a thing called Hackney Rep. So I do it in Lower Clapton area, and he does it in Hoxton. So anyone Lower Clapton, please, Charles, send them over to me.
Cool. Have a think about Lower Clapton Connects.
Thank you so much.
Nice one, thanks, Charlie. Jenny?
Yeah, I was just going to come in. I'm glad you mentioned that, Rye, because it sounds like such a great session. And before you arrived, we heard from Daniel, who just had to take a call, but who's still on the call, from Barnados, who are commissioned to do all the Solihull parenting classes, but they only go up to age 5. So if there are, I'm sure that they are working also with parents who will have children of the kind of secondary transition age as well. So he might know there might well be parents that are coming up that could benefit from your session. So it might be worth you guys connecting, because you didn't hear his presentation, but I'm sure there's a possibility to connect across, because it sounds like your session. And I had the great pleasure of visiting Beta Minds Hub this morning, and it was just thank you so much for having me, Rye. It was just an amazing space to arrive into. There was some children who were being homeschooled there, and all the older women who were there doing their crosswords and bingo and talking about the exercises they were going to go and do. It felt like a family. There was lovely food everywhere, beautiful music. Just it's always really inspiring coming out and meeting and seeing the work in action. So I'm really excited that Rye's connected into this session now, and again I connected with Rye out. Actually, we realized earlier that we met at Caribbeats, and I saw Ali pop in and out of this session earlier as well. So it's like we're all interconnected, aren't we, really? But we can continue to strengthen these. Oh yes, and coach parenting, we met at a grants review meeting the other day, and they mentioned they're delivering the Solihull parenting to the Orthodox Jewish community. So I think, Daniel, we're doing a follow-up session where we're going to get them in to talk about the work they're doing with the Orthodox Jewish community as well. But yeah, it'd be great if Daniel and Rye could connect over those sessions, because you must have loads of parents that you've just been working with who have got on a mailing list or those WhatsApp groups or whatever as well, I guess.
That'd be great. So Rye, if you can grab my details, then we can touch base with either a coffee in person, or we can do it online.
Coffee in person.
Okay, we'll get it.
Yeah. Great stuff. Thank you, Daniel. I've got my email in the chat for anyone that wants. Just ping over. And Rachel, I'll give you if you give me an email, I'll send you over everything.
Thank you. All right, folks, I'm going to have to run away if that's okay.
Nice one. Thanks, Daniel. That was brilliant.
Great to see you again. Thanks, Daniel.
Bye,
Thanks,
Daniel.
Daniel.
Thanks. Bye.
I'm sending the email over, Ryan, okay? Because I'd like to list your Domino's Club on the Lunch Club's webpage.
Amazing.
That's okay.
Thank
with
you.
you.
That'll be amazing.
I have
Rachel.
a little list of social clubs as well for older people, and it's not completely covers everything, but if I hear of something, I just like to add it on. So
that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Jenny?
Yeah, I did. The other thing that you missed, Rye, at the beginning of this, and I actually thought, because it was fresh in my mind of coming out to meet you at the hub, I thought it was brilliant. These small grants that someone in the sustainability team has set up for organisations to apply for money. I think it's £1,500 to pay for fixers and a venue and promotional material, so people can come and get their appliances fixed. And I thought about your space. I don't know whether it's something you'd be interested in, but we'll put it in the newsletter anyway. I'm just mentioning it. I thought it sounded like a great initiative, because you're always sitting around with things that you can't get fixed anywhere, and it'd save you loads of money if you could actually fix the things that you've got sitting around. And it's always feels rubbish having to put them in the bin when they're appliances, doesn't it? Come in, Rye.
I think I saw it. If it's the one that you can also do upcycling, then that would be fantastic, because Misha you met today does
Yeah.
all that kind of upcycling, sewing, all of that kind of stuff. So if
Brilliant.
that's included, that'll be amazing.
Excellent. Well, Charlie's getting in touch with you about the crew energy stuff. So that was it. It was via Maya, wasn't it? Thanks, Chanel. But yeah, maybe Charlie can also just flag those details for you so you can get onto that. Because I'm not sure when the deadline's coming, but it sounded like it was a great scheme.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, everyone. We've got a few minutes left. Jenny, did you want to speak briefly about what you were going to speak about in 2 weeks' time? The Fairer Help work?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know whether anyone can show the visual note, because I'm now having to join from my phone because I stupidly don't have my laptop charger. I don't know if Charlie or John are able to access the Fairer Ways of Working visual note. I guess the first thing I wanted to say was that we were reflecting the other day that it's been 5 years since lockdown. It's been 5 years since the COVID pandemic, and since I guess a lot of this work in our team started, and we've called it lots of different things sort of since the initial and I was talking with Ryan, colleagues down at the Beta Hub today about it, actually kind of just remembering that this work of kind of trying to bring together the whole system of council, voluntary sector and health to try and sort of think together, I guess, working toward the shared purpose of supporting Hackney residents. We felt like we could do with doing a bit of a kind of commemorative session, really, like next in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to do a bit of a presentation that's sort of talking through where a lot of this work started and the things that we've learned, some of the things that we've learned along the way, and what we're hoping to do next with these sessions, and in terms of like building the network of this work and trying to support better joined up working across the system to support residents, particularly those who've been failed by our systems over a long periods of time. So we wanted to share with you, we've been working as a team under the sort of banner of what we called Fairer Help, but we're now calling Fairer Ways of Working, to try to sort of articulate some of the preventative ways of working that we're all trying to do, those of us in this space collaboratively, sharing information about what's not working for residents so that we can then go and do something different, learning from community partners so we can, learning and really kind of sharing resources and learning together and working toward the same goal of how do we reach and support those residents who we know don't always just come knocking on our door asking for our help and might need a bit of support and encouragement, and a warmer, more trauma-informed kind of welcome to our organisations. And I suppose we've learned so much that those based and rooted in communities are those that have those kinds of relationships. And so we've been learning really over the last 5 years about how we can do more and better as a council to enable more of that and connect more of that up. And so Charlie and Hannah's role kind of on the ground connecting things up, this group, how we do the household support fund. And before we started sharing any of these visual things that we've been producing to try to sort of sum up what we think we've learned here, we wanted to keep sharing it with this group, because this group have been key in developing all of it. So every bit of insight shared, every bit of feedback about what works when you're working with residents and who don't trust services, all of that has fed into some of these kind of principles that we've come up with, which are really a set of tools that can be used in lots of different ways. And we're really keen to think about how we can all be using them to show that kind of shared mission, I guess, of making Hackney fairer and supporting the work. It's really key in our voluntary and community sector strategy and our equalities plan, which really says that we can't afford not to work in this way, given the scale of the challenges and the inequalities that exist in Hackney communities. So we just want to keep bringing that conversation back here, because you're the experts in how this stuff can be useful. And and we really want to sort of sense check them with you and see whether or not they're tools that you can usefully use in some ways, and how we can sort of rebrand this session as using some of these visuals, which is sort of saying it's about fairer ways of working. It's not just poverty, it's actually about the way we work with people who are experiencing multiple disadvantage and have got loads of loads of services that they could really do with accessing that aren't as available to them in the way they might need. So yeah, I don't know if Charlie, you've got we've only got a couple of minutes left, so I just wanted to sort of share it on the screen really and say that we'll do a sort of more detailed presentation in a couple of weeks. And I'd like to ask the group some questions, and then what we'd really like your help with is to spread the word about these sessions. When we rebrand it and we have this new purple Fairer Ways of Working branding on it that links it to our equalities plan, we'd really love your help in thinking about how do we help more frontline staff to access this session. I was having a chat with with Pamela from Children's Services, Children in Need, who was just saying, social workers are so busy, they haven't even got time to work out what's out there for people. And we were trying to think, how do we help more social workers access that information? And it's often just really hard because everyone's so busy. Everyone who's helping residents is so busy, they haven't got time to even think about coming to a session like this. But we really want to connect more people into it because we know how lonely and isolating it can be to be working with a lot of different stuff. And not be able to always know how to help people with it, but it's probably not big enough here, and we'll just keep I think maybe we just keep putting it in the newsletter, John, as well as a visual reminder. We're happy to meet up with anyone who wants to sort of help us think about this stuff or has feedback or ideas for us, so please get in touch with anyone in the team if you've got anything you want to share on it. I won't take up any more of your time since it's so beautiful outside, and I hope you can get out and enjoy some of it this evening. But thank you so much for coming, and thanks for all your work in this space and out there in communities, because we really appreciate it and are inspired by it. This is how we shape our work. Basically, we come to this session and we go, right, that's what people need, we can go and do that. And same as when we go out and visit community partners and see what's really happening out there. So and it was great to chat to some of the residents at Rise Place this morning, and I guess it just brings back home what we're doing this for in the first place, when we chat to people who really value having somewhere to go that can help connect them up to the right stuff. So and Charlie's showing one of the visuals, so we've got all these logos, we've got these visuals which we would really like not just the council to be using, but anybody who finds it helpful to sort of articulate why this stuff is important. So I guess hearing Daniel talking earlier about how Barnados and the Solihull approach are really focusing on the importance of lived experience of people supporting, and then we heard Vernon talking about it. I feel like it's something that is a value that many of us share and have learned is really important. Rather than thinking we've got all the answers, we're trying to say to our colleagues across the system, actually, if you have a problem, the starting point is go and speak to the people that it affects most and who have the most expertise in what it feels like to have that problem, and then you'll get the right solutions. But actually oftentimes the way that we work is to maybe think that we have the answers and commission accordingly, which we know doesn't really help us to tackle inequalities or save money. So we're, I guess, on a bit of a journey with this, and see all of you as our allies and those we've learnt from really as we develop this work. So please put anything in the chat, any feedback, or get in touch with us, or just come in a couple of weeks when we can sort of talk you through, try and tell a bit of a story since the pandemic and up to where we are, and then ask you, what do we do with all this next? What about this idea? What about that? We've got some ideas. We've been generating some in some of our in various different sort of meetings and sessions. So be looking forward to evolving it and relaunching this session with you so we can connect even more people in.
Thanks, Jenny. That feels like a great place to wrap up. But please do come along next time to hear more about all of that work. It'd be great to hear from you guys too about how you want to feed into it. So I'm going to draw the meeting to a close. Thanks everyone for coming along, and hopefully see you in a fortnight's time. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Really good to see you all.
Brilliant meeting. Thank you. Bye.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.